I have a question, Stuart.
Yes.
In your book, A Lotus Flower in Muddy Waters, you mention the importance of being grounded and centered in the navel chakra when gathering energy from the astral and cosmic planes. And you talk a little bit in the book about the astral plane, but not much that I have seen about cosmic planes. Can you share anything about those and the difference between those and the astral?
The astral plane it's just a level of consciousness that's literally right above the crown chakra. It's not a very extensive area of consciousness, but it's a very immediate one when one begins to get into transcendental levels of work. Uh, the cosmos is infinite. It is multi-layered and multi-dimensional. There's no limit to the amount of energy in the cosmos. Everything that we are and everything we do every day and our life on the earth is part of the cosmos. At the same time, cosmic energy is infinite in the universe. There's no limit to it. And therefore, when one taps it, there's no end to the amount what you can learn in terms of, filling yourself with Shakti, with spirit, with higher energy, becoming a servant of God, surrendering to it so that the chakra system gets highly developed. I mean, the astral plane is a particular plane of consciousness. Cosmos is universal. There's no limit. It has millions of planes of consciousness and endless areas of learning and what we need, to use from that energy, to be nurtured by that energy so that we can grow our lives. I mean, there are people that are born with a gift. They have psychic gifts and they can go into the astral plane. They can tap higher energies, and a lot of times they use those gifts. They become, seers and whatever, tarot cards and, all that stuff that they use in order to look into the future of somebody or tell somebody how to act or what to do. Generally, it's another way of earning a living. And it's limited because it taps a plane which is just a little bit above the consciousness of where human beings can go living on the earth, using that plane in order to project, somebody else's life or whatever. And it's a limitation. To me, going into the astral is really, it's a step. It's a way of, taking a step into the cosmos. And I used to hear my teacher talk about never allowing the astral plane or any other plane on the earth or in the cosmos to become a limitation to your spiritual growth. And that was clear to me because the energy of God is without limitation. The astral plane has a limitation. All these cosmic areas of consciousness have limitations. No, I'm not saying that they're negative. They're not. They're just opportunities to grow. And I always see them as steps on a ladder to building my inner life and getting more connected to what's infinite in the universe. And ultimately, to get to a place where you transcend time and space, and your meditation practice takes you there. To get free of time and space by learning how to use what you learn in time and space to grow and open the door that enables you to transcend time and space. So all of this works together, and any level of growth and any level of consciousness can not only be something wonderful that helps you to grow, it can also be a limitation. So people who are highly gifted spiritually often make the worst spiritual students. They really do. I mean, they can talk the whole spiritual rap. They can, they know all the terminologies and you look inside them and there's always a lot of emptiness. There's always, this lack of true nourishment of what it means to be a child of God living in the world. It's all in their heads. They've memorized books. They've listened to people talk about it. And they memorized it. But to me, higher consciousness has to be a living experience. It has to inundate every part of your being, organically, not because you memorized Sanskrit words or terminologies. And generally, the astral plane and any other plane like that it becomes something that you can use to grow. You're introduced to all these dreamlike creatures and, strange things that take place, surreal things that take place. And you can go, wow, and fantastic. And, and then you hang around there for the rest of your life. And it becomes not only your gift, but your limitation. The whole secret in any kind of inner work is becoming nothing. And becoming nothing means that you become a vehicle through which all of the cosmos, higher energy can flow, and it guides your life. Can I give you an explanatory, definitive, study of it? No, I can't. It's not where my mind, my heart, my spiritual practice operates. Can I tell you that I've absorbed energy of astral planes and cosmic? Yes, I have. And I never cared to understand what it was all about. I only wanted to grow because of it. I wanted to nurture me in the deepest parts of my being. Because anything that I understand literally brings it down to my level of understanding. I interpret it according to the way I see the world. And that's a limitation. Opening, absorbing, growing, surrendering to what's infinite in the universe, that's not a limitation. So I can't give you a textbook. Like, I'm sure there are enough books written on it, explanation of what the astral plane is or anything of cosmic nature. I can tell you that the energy is extremely powerful and it's energy of growth. And it also can be the energy of limitation, depending upon if you want to hang out there the rest of your life. I mean, Rudy had a great metaphor. He always talked about you're on an elevator and the elevator extends endlessly into the cosmos and you can get off on any floor and shop and spend the whole life on that floor if you want to. Or you go, you absorb what you have to learn on that floor, you get back on the elevator and continue the voyage in the bosom of God, what's infinite. Maybe I was very fortunate. My mind isn't big enough to wrap around all the terminologies, to learn Sanskrit, to learn all that stuff. I never was able to do it. And then it reached the point where I didn't want to do it. It would just clutter up my brain. So I just surrendered to it, let it become pure energy, nurturing. Man, what a gift. What a gift that was. So I'm not saying you can't do both. You can. If one wants to. One can do both. You can learn all the terminology and always remind yourself that it's a limitation if you don't grow. Use it to grow. Use it to build a strong inner life. use it to get closer to God and your spiritual enlightenment. And never to believe that if you speak Sanskrit, that you're an enlightened person because you speak Sanskrit, you know? Well, that's about as far as I can go on this subject, you know. I mean, does anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. I hope it's clear, just to finish up. People too often misjudge, kind of intellectual knowledge for spiritual growth. It's not the same thing. Because spiritual growth is the development of the entire chakra system. And it's not essential to have 190 IQ to grow spiritually. You just have to be able to open your heart, feel love, feel kindness, joy, become and live at the highest levels of what it means to be a human being. And in doing that, you work out your karma. You get free of the earth. And in the same time, you can get free of the astral and all planes of consciousness. You ultimately can get free of time and space. Does anyone else have a question they would like? When I was younger, I used to study all that stuff. I got all these books, and it eventually just gave me a headache. I stopped doing it. I used to see Rudy. He used to read a lot, but he always read Agatha Christie. He was an Agatha Christie fan. And he would get completely enmeshed in the mysteries of Agatha Christie. You know, it was kind of wonderful. But I did, at the age of 16 to about 25, I read philosophy, theology. I mean, I had it coming out of my ears. And I really got tired of it. I got tired of memorizing all that stuff. And understanding was taking me nowhere. It was giving me a headache. Whereas opening the heart got rid of the headache. Feeling love, feeling joy, having a highly developed chakra system got rid of the headache. There was nothing I had to memorize. It was just something I had to do by using the mind and the breath properly. Does anyone else have a question you'd like to ask? I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't read books on spiritual stuff. But I even read in the Bhagavad Gita, nobody is going to get to God through a book. I mean, that's true. It's written somewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, one of the most sacred books ever written. Nobody will ever get their spiritual enlightenment through. And I shouldn't say that because I write books, I mean, I have this kind of talent that I use to write these books. Or you brought it up, like book Lotus Flower and Muddy Waters. But I even say in my books, nobody's get enlightened reading books and writing books. Does anyone else have a question? For me, it happens to be a gift I have, so I use it and do it. Hopefully, it goes out there in the world and people learn something from it. you know. I always hope they learn that they got to practice some deep form of inner work in order to become a lotus flower coming out of muddy waters. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, there'll be meditation on Wednesday. As I've been announcing, next weekend I'm having a retreat here. And there'll be no class next Sunday. There'll be a lot of classes next weekend, but not on Zoom on next Sunday. If you're interested in attending retreats, there's going to be another one in October. There's space for people to join if you want to come. Just let me know or let Jennifer know, and we'll put your name down. Okay, if there are no questions, and thank you all. God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Good night, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Good night, everybody.